Write an engaging and emotional story based on the title. A single dad fed a homeless woman. Weeks later her lawyers knocked on his door. Begin the story with hook who joins the viewers at the end. Immediately capture attention. Also motive viewers to like video and subscribe the channel. Develop the plot with emotional depth and relatable characters, including key challenges and their resolutions. Ensure the story maintains a smooth pace suitable for an 400-minute YouTube video, leaving a strong, inspiring message by the end. Plain paragraphs but long story as you can based on 3,000-word estimate. In the heart of a bustling city that never seemed to slow down for anyone, Alex Thompson stood outside a dingy diner, clutching a paper bag with his last $10 worth of food, a lukewarm burger and fries that were meant to be dinner for him and his little girl. Rain poured down like the sky was weeping for all the forgotten souls below, and Alex's coat did little to shield him from the chill that seeped into his bones. He was a single dad, 35 years old, with calloused hands from 2 jobs and a heart heavy from loss. His wife, Sarah, had been taken by cancer 2 years ago, leaving him to raise their 8-year-old daughter, Lily, alone. Bills piled up like unopened wounds, and eviction notices whispered threats from his mailbox. But that night, as he hurried home, he spotted her, a frail woman huddled under a cardboard box in the alley, her eyes hollow but kind, shivering in the storm. Something in him broke. He couldn't just walk by. "Here," he said, handing her the bag without a second thought. "It's not much, but it's warm." She looked up, surprised, and in that moment, their worlds collided in a way neither could have imagined. If you're watching this story unfold and feeling that tug at your heartstrings already, hit that like button right now. It helps us share more tales of hope and humanity like this one. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it. Join our community for weekly stories that remind us all why kindness matters. Now, let's dive deeper into Alex's world, where one simple act sets off a chain of events that changes everything. Alex wasn't always this worn down. Back when Sarah was alive, life had been a tapestry of small joys, family picnics in the park, Lily's giggles echoing through their modest apartment, dreams of a better future. Sarah had been the glue, a vibrant teacher who believed in the power of stories to heal. But cancer didn't care about dreams. It stole her away in months, leaving Alex drowning in medical debt and grief. He worked as a mechanic by day and a delivery driver by night, barely scraping by. Lily, with her wide blue eyes and curly hair just like her mom's, was his anchor. She never complained about the thrift store clothes or the nights when dinner was peanut butter on crackers. "Daddy, we're a team," she'd say, hugging him tight. But Alex worried. The landlord had given them until the end of the month to pay up, or they'd be out on the street. How do you explain homelessness to an 8-year-old who still believes in fairy tales? That fateful night, as the rain hammered the pavement, Alex's decision to help the homeless woman wasn't born of abundance but of empathy. Her name was Eleanor, though he didn't know it then. She was in her 60s, her face etched with lines that spoke of a life harder than most. Her clothes were ragged, layers of mismatched fabrics that smelled of the streets. When he offered the food, she hesitated, her voice soft and cracked. "Why me? You look like you could use it yourself." Alex shrugged, rain dripping from his brow. "Because no one should go hungry alone. Eat up, it's got extra ketchup." They sat there for a moment, sharing the shelter of the alley's overhang. Eleanor took a bite, her eyes closing in quiet gratitude. "You're a good man," she murmured. "The world needs more like you." Alex smiled faintly, but inside, doubt gnawed at him. Good men didn't let their daughters down. He bid her good night and hurried home, where Lily waited with a drawing of a rainbow house. "Our future home, Daddy." The contrast hit him like a punch. Days blurred into weeks. Alex's challenges mounted. At work, his boss cut his hours, citing slow business. The car broke down, eating into what little savings he had. Lily came home from school with a fever, and the doctor's visit meant skipping groceries. He lay awake at night, staring at the ceiling, whispering prayers he wasn't sure anyone heard. "Sarah, if you're up there, help me figure this out." Friends offered sympathy, but no one could bail him out. He even considered selling Sarah's wedding ring, a thought that twisted his gut. Through it all, the memory of Eleanor lingered, a fleeting act of kindness in a sea of struggle. He wondered if she was okay, but the city was vast, and homeless faces blended into the background. Then, one crisp autumn afternoon, as Alex helped Lily with her homework at their rickety kitchen table, a knock echoed through the apartment. It wasn't the landlord's impatient rap, this was firm, professional. Alex opened the door to two suited figures, a man and a woman, briefcases in hand, expressions neutral but intense. "Mr. Thompson?" the woman asked, her voice polished. "We're lawyers from Hargrove and Associates. We're here on behalf of Eleanor Hargrove." Alex blinked, confusion knitting his brow. "Eleanor who? I think you've got the wrong guy." The man shook his head. "No, sir. You helped her a few weeks ago. Fed her in the rain. She's been looking for you." The revelation hit like a thunderclap. Eleanor Hargrove wasn't just any homeless woman. She was the Eleanor Hargrove, heiress to a vast fortune built on real estate and philanthropy. But life had dealt her a cruel hand. Years ago, after losing her husband and son in a tragic accident, Eleanor spiraled into depression. She wandered away from her opulent life, choosing the streets over the emptiness of her mansion. Her family had searched for her endlessly, hiring private investigators, but Eleanor had evaded them, lost in her grief. That night in the alley, Alex's simple gesture, sharing his meal, listening without judgment, had pierced through her fog. "You reminded me of my son," she'd later confess. Kind, without expecting anything. Touched by his selflessness, Eleanor had returned to her family, seeking help. And now, her lawyers were here with news that would upend Alex's world. As the lawyers explained, Eleanor wanted to repay him. Not with a handout, but with a lifeline. She'd set up a trust fund for Lily's education, paid off Alex's debts in full, and even offered him a job at her foundation, overseeing community outreach programs for the homeless. "She said you have a heart for it," the woman lawyer said, sliding papers across the table. Alex sat there, stunned, tears welling as Lily peeked from the doorway, wide-eyed. "Is this real, Daddy?" she whispered. He pulled her into his lap, nodding through the emotion. "Yeah, kiddo. Sometimes miracles happen." But it wasn't just about the money. Eleanor's act stemmed from her own healing. Alex's kindness had been the spark that pulled her back from the brink. Of course, resolutions don't come without hurdles. Alex grappled with pride, accepting help felt like failure at first. "I don't deserve this," he told Eleanor when they met weeks later at her elegant home, surrounded by gardens that bloomed eternally. She was transformed, her hair neatly coiffed, but her eyes held the same warmth. "Deserve? Life isn't about deserving, Alex. It's about giving when you have nothing left. You did that for me." They shared stories. Her losses mirroring his own, forging a bond like family. Lily adored Aunt Ellie, as she called her, and the two women in Alex's life, one gone and one found, seemed to weave a new safety net. Challenges persisted. Alex's new role meant learning to navigate boardrooms instead of garages, facing skepticism from colleagues who saw him as an outsider. "Who's this guy? Some charity case?" one sneered. But Alex's grit shone through. He implemented programs based on real street experiences. Mobile food vans, mental health check-ins, job training for the unhoused. One initiative, Sarah's Shelter, honored his wife by providing safe havens for families in crisis. Lily thrived too, enrolling in art classes where her drawings turned from rainbows to portraits of hope. Yet, emotional scars lingered. Alex visited Sarah's grave, whispering, "We made it, love. Because of people like Eleanor." Grief doesn't vanish, but it softens with purpose. As months turned to years, the ripple effects grew. Eleanor's foundation expanded, inspired by Alex's ideas. He spoke at events, sharing his story. One meal changed everything. Not because it was grand, but because it was given from the heart. Audiences wept, moved by the tale of a single dad and a lost soul finding each other. Lily, now a teenager, volunteered alongside him, her empathy a legacy of her parents' love. Eleanor, fully recovered, became a grandmother figure, hosting holidays where laughter drowned out past sorrows. But let's rewind to those early days post-knock. Alex faced internal battles, guilt over his windfall while others suffered. He channeled it into action, starting a "pay it forward" chain in his community. Neighbors who'd once pitted him now joined in, delivering meals to shelters. One recipient, a young mother named Maria, echoed Eleanor's words, "You reminded me I'm not alone." Alex's kindness boomeranged, creating a web of support that lifted many. External obstacles arose too. Media caught wind of the story, dubbing it the Alley Angel Miracle. Reporters hounded Alex, twisting facts for clicks. "Is this a scam?" headlines blared. Eleanor stood firm, her lawyers shielding them. "Truth wins," she said. Through it, Alex learned resilience, teaching Lily, "People will doubt, but your actions speak louder." Their bond with Eleanor deepened. She shared her vulnerabilities, admitting the streets had been her escape from overwhelming wealth. "I felt invisible in luxury," she confessed. Alex nodded. "And I felt crushed by poverty. But together, we found balance." The plot thickened when old debts resurfaced. A forgotten hospital bill from Sarah's treatment threatened their stability. Eleanor's team handled it, but it reminded Alex that life demands vigilance. He pursued therapy, confronting buried grief. Sessions revealed how Sarah's death had numbed him to joy, helping Eleanor reignited it. "Kindness heals the giver too," his therapist noted. Lily faced her own trials, bullying at school over their sudden riches. Alex coached her, "Wealth isn't money, it's love." She blossomed, writing a school essay on compassion that won awards. Years later, at a foundation gala, Alex proposed to his girlfriend, Mia, a social worker he'd met through work. Eleanor walked Lily down the aisle as flower girl. The event celebrated not just love, but transformation. Guests included former homeless individuals now employed, their stories intertwined. Reflecting on that rainy night, Alex marveled at fate's twists. One act snowballed into salvation, proving humanity's interconnectedness. Challenges forged strength, resolutions brought peace. And so, dear viewers, this tale of Alex and Eleanor reminds us, in our darkest hours, a single spark of kindness can ignite a blaze of hope. It doesn't take much. A meal, a smile, a listening ear, to change a life, or many. If this story moved you, smash that like button and subscribe for more inspiring narratives. Share your own acts of kindness in the comments, we'd love to hear them. Remember, the world is full of Eleanors waiting for an Alex. Be that person today. Your kindness might just come knocking back.